The state of Florida ranked second in strawberry production with more than 10,000 acres in 2012, representing 100% of the domestically produced winter crop. Most of the production area is planted with bare root transplants, with low cost per seed and high yields, but also high investment in water and labor. Strawberry plugs are quickly replacing traditional bare root transplants in many parts of the world, with more than 25 billions in the US and Canada. Some advantages of plug plants are reduction in pesticide requirements and soil-borne diseases. Strawberry plug plants are grown from unrooted runners called tips. The tips are directly rooted into specially designed trays that usually contain a peat-based media, avoiding contact with the floor. Ease of transplanting. Transplanting highly perishable fresh plants is labor-intensive, requiring up to 30 labors per hectare or 12 labors per acre. However, plug plants can be mechanically transplanted, requiring a crew of only 5 workers to transplant about 0.6 hectares per day or 1.5 acres per day. Reduction of water requirements. Bare root plants require an intensive daily overhead irrigation, from morning to afternoon for about 10 days. Plug plants can be established with less water and management after field setting. Plug plants production. The first step in the process of growing strawberry plugs is the site selection. The strawberry runners plants need to avoid contact with the soil. Greenhouse grown plants are suspended systems to avoid the contact with the ground. Plug transplants are produced generally within 5 to 8 weeks. Use tips from a known source. Tips can be infected with several diseases without showing symptoms. Although there are no guarantees, a known source of plants is the first wise step. Tissue culture mother plants are the preferred source. Keep in mind that many varieties are patented and require a license in order to take cuttings. Harvest the tips every 10 to 14 days. Be careful not to damage the plant during the handling. Half inch of the runner should be left as an anchor. Carefully discard all the tips with diseases and damages. Root initials may be present, but should not be longer than half inch long. At least 2 trifoliate leaves must be present, and both should be between 2.5 and 4 inches long. Runners with one smaller than the other often fail to establish. Ideally, tips should be planted as soon as they arrive. However, if this is not possible, the tip might be stored at 34 degrees Fahrenheit and 80% humidity for up to 2 weeks from the date of harvest. Sort tips by size. Small tips rooted in the same tray as large tips results in excess shading of the small tips and provide ideal conditions for botrytis rot and powdery mildew. Plant the tips in plug trays of 50 cells. Use sterilized media. These include most professional grower mixes. If you're recycling trays, be sure to remove all organic matter from them. Then chlorinate dip the trays prior to use. 1 part liquid bleach to 9 parts clean water. Placement of root initials and anchors should be below soil surface, with as much developing crown and trifoliate leaf above as possible. Gently press the soil around the anchor strawberry runner tip to more efficiently set and anchor the plant. Do not fertilize new planted tips. The fertilizer charge in most potting media will be sufficient until the plants are well rooted. Fertilize for the first time at 2 weeks after planting. Avoid excess fertility and misting. Excess moisture and fertility will favor diseases. The goal is to keep leaves moist until the tips start to create their own roots. Hot and sunny days will require extra mixing. Enclosed structures will require less misting, as wind will not dry the leaves as with plants growing outdoor. Do not allow the surface of the leaves to dry for the first 7 days. Ensure adequate ventilation and air circulation. Outdoor plug systems appear to have less disease pressure than systems in greenhouses. After misting is complete and the roots are established, the new strawberry plugs need to be hardened in the greenhouse before going out to the field. In summary, mother plants can be used to obtain tips for pot plants. Tips can be harvested every 10 to 14 days, being careful not to damage the plant during handling. At least 2 trifoliate leaves must be present on the tip and should be disease-free. Tips should be planted as soon as they arrive. Sort the tips by size and plant accordingly. Plant the tips in plug trays with 50 cells per tray and use sterilized media. Do not over-fertilize or irrigate. Ensure adequate ventilation and air circulation. Plug plants should be ready for the field in 5 to 8 weeks after transplant.